What's up, everybody? It's your boy Dave Mo, man. Today's video, I'm hype. We're gonna talk about floor plans. And here's why I'm hype. I'm hype about credit. Because really and truly, the car thing is cool as hell, don't get me wrong, but my passion is finance. My passion is your credit scores. That's my passion. My passion is teaching you guys how to leverage credit and everything like that. The car thing is cool as hell, don't get me wrong, but it's not what my heart is, all right? So before we get into floor plans and everything else, let's talk real quick about your credit. Get it right. Get it right. Understand what your credit is. Understand your debt to income ratio. Understand your score. All right. So if you have bad credit, you could probably stop watching now because finance companies aren't really going, floor plan companies aren't probably going to want to mess with you because you have bad credit. So I'll make a video about fixing credit and what to do and what not to do. Credit utilization, et cetera, et cetera. And even if you have, if the floor plan companies won't mess with you, we could potentially leverage your credit on your cards to buy cars, sell cars, use it for a year, and then pay them back. But that's a whole nother video, okay, guys? Today's video, let's talk about the floor plans. Damn, I don't know what's up with this chair. Like it used to be so comfortable. Now it's not so much. There's probably 2 or 3 major floor plans. The floor plan companies. The number one is going to be NextGear. NextGear is owned by Cox. I don't think it's Cox Media, but it's definitely owned by Cox. Cox also owns Manheim, by the way, and Manheim owns a lot. Not as much as Copart, but they own a lot. Copart, interesting fact, Copart owns wherever their auctions are, they own the property. Copart is kind of like the McDonald's of the car industry. Anyway, so you're gonna have, let's talk about NextGear, AFC, which is what I use, and you also have like CarBucks, Connect, and 100 other ones, okay? The way floor plans work, generally speaking, each one has their own little gimmicky thing to them, but the way they work is you'll get a line of credit, if you will. So let's just say they give you 200 grand. Okay. You go to the auction, you buy the cars, you tell them, hey, put it on my floor plan. Okay. Now you own the car, but now you owe the floor plan the money. Okay. So you sell the car, not a big deal. The buyer gives you the money. Here in Florida, we have 30 days to process the title. Then you take that money, you pay off the car, and then they'll overnight you the title. Done. Seems so simple, right? Here's where it starts to mess up on you. NextGear, like most floor plans, charge you an initiation fee, usually $100, right? Now I can't, so there's so many different plans. I'm not gonna get into any one plan in particular, because I'll get hit. Oh no, that's messed up because they charge $150 or they don't charge anything. We're talking broad strokes here, okay, people? So let's just say it's $100 initiation fee. So before you even have the car, you said put on my floor plan, boom, you're up to $100. Now they have an interest rate, a daily rate. Now, it could be 17%. As a matter of fact, I just got an email, today's Thursday, I got it on Monday, that I got 2 floor plan offers. One is 17%, one is 12.9. It doesn't really matter to me. So now you got to pay $100. Now you have your daily. Your daily is an interest rate based on the amount of money you took out, okay, for the car. So every single day you're being charged, it's daily, right? So every day it's going up, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up. You also need a certain amount of insurance on your property, usually about 100 grand, usually 50% of what the floor plan is. So if you got a $100,000 floor plan, you need 50. You got 200, you need 100. You got $1 million, you need $500,000. It's 50%, okay? So if you don't have that, what you can do is you can buy the insurance called a VIP plan from the floor plan company. Most of them have it. CarBucks does not offer it, if I'm not mistaken. As a matter of fact, they don't offer it, CarBucks. AFC definitely doesn't, so does NextGear. I don't know about Connect. So with that being said, that's an extra, I think it's like almost, it's not $6. I forget what it is, but it's like $6 a month. All right. So whatever that breaks down daily. So you're like, all right, I want to do this. This makes sense to me. Perfect. Just know when you sell that car, you owe them the money. And that's, that's what it is. Some of them have stipulations where you can't buy certain cars. Like some of them are like, no, you can't buy salvage. Some of them are like, you can't buy rebuildable. And then you just have to figure that out. And you can usually get around all that just by talking. So when I spoke to the Next Gear guy, I was like, I don't want any restrictions. I had no desire to buy rebuildable cars. So rebuildable cars is a car that you buy and you had to fix it and take it to an inspect. I had no desire to do it, but I'm kind of a ball buster, and if you want to do business with me, I want to do it my way. And I was just like, look, I don't want restrictions. I don't want to be handcuffed. And the guy was able to, talk to his manager or whatever and had that restriction removed. Funny thing is, I never used the Next Gear floor plan. I never used it at all. I used it one time for him to show me something and paid the car off, and that was it. So I use AFC. I use AFC's daily plan, okay? So from like 0 to 5,000, well, from I guess 0 or 1 to 5,000 or 4,099, whatever. I paid $3 a day. But the floor plan on this one, it only gives you 45 days. So no matter what, whether you sell the car or not, you gotta have it paid off in 45 days. So I just took that number, I said 30, so that means I'm gonna pay $90. There's no initiation fee with this plan, and there's no audits. Most floor plan companies have what's called an audit. So what does that mean? That means that they come to your dealership and they charge you $100 to come out once a month, and they look for all the cars that you have floor planned. If one of those cars are not at your dealership and they're, let's just say, being repaired, they're being repaired, you have to take a series of photos for them within 7 days, I believe. The VIN numbers and all four corners of the car, and I think the interior. They want to make sure that you're not parting the car out. That's why you got to take the pictures. Getting approved for a floor plan is credit based. You'll have to do that, and that's it. In some states, I think in every state, no, not in every state. In some, so it's called a doc stamp fee. So it's a certain amount of money that you're going to have to pay to the state for having the floor plan. Interesting enough, interesting story here. When my floor plan came through for $200K, I happened to be in Georgia. I was in Georgia looking to purchase a vehicle. Okay? So I get a phone call like, hey, your contract's ready. I said, look, I'm not in Florida right now. I'm not in the office. I'm actually in Georgia. And the guy was like, that's actually perfect. I'm going to send it to you right now. Turn on the GPS so we know you're in Georgia, and it's going to save you $750. I was like, what? Georgia doesn't have that doc stamp fee. So because I was not in Florida and I happened to be doing business now, keep in mind, my dealership was in Florida. I, as an individual, was in Georgia looking to buy a car. I was able to sign the document over there. And because I signed it in a state that did not have that fee, I did not have to pay that money. So if you do get a floor plan and it's some outrageous money and it makes sense to you, it might make sense to go to another state to sign it that doesn't have a doc fee. If it's like close. I don't know that I would have left Tampa to drive 3 hours to Georgia to save $750. I don't know that I'd do that. I probably would. I probably would. I'd probably wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, be in Georgia by 8, get some breakfast, sign the documents, and come right back. I'd have the whole thing done by noon. So for $750, that's more than I make a day at my job. So yeah, I'd probably do that. I love my floor plan. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's so easy. It's so simple. I just put a car on the floor plan this morning. Bought a $9,000 Benz. Put it on the floor plan. Front line ready, for the most part, right? We hope. So we'll get it there. We'll turn it. That's it. So if you're financing cars, sometimes with certain finance companies, you'll have to process the paperwork prior to them cutting you your check. floor plan companies will charge you like $25, and they'll say, okay, you have 7 days to give us our money back. Okay, so they'll give you the title, and so this is crazy. They're going to overnight it to you, but you're going to lose a day right off rip. So you want to be strategic with when you ask for this title, okay? So I'm going to ask for the title Monday morning. So I know by Tuesday I have it. As soon as I get it on Tuesday, I'm processing all the paperwork. Now, at my dealership, I can process all my paperwork online, all right? And then they'll review it and they'll send it back to me. In this instance, I'm going to take my happy butt. I'm going to drive to their office with all the paperwork. I'm going to process it right there in person. And as soon as it's done, so if there's any mistakes, I can fix it right there. Boom, boom, boom. There's no delay. That Tuesday, that deal will be done. I'll call my finance company. Hey, the deal's done. I'll send you whatever you need. I send it to them. They'll cut me my check, ACH it right to me, direct deposit, whatever. And then I will turn around and pay the floor plan company and keep the difference, keep all the profit. So whatever I did, I made that money with their money and everyone's happy, right? Perfect. So let's just say something goes wrong and you're on day 6 or 7. Call the floor plan company. Hey, listen, I got this deal. I can send you all the proof. The car is sold. I'm just waiting for my check to come from the finance company. The floor plan companies that I've done business with have all been very, very helpful in that situation. All they're going to do is they're going to make a note and say, hey, thank you for reaching out. Now we know you're going to take care of the business. It's not a big deal. We'll give you another 7 days. They might charge you $25 again. But what you don't want to do is not talk to them. If you don't talk to them, all they're going to say to you is they're going to look like you're trying to pull a fast one on them, and they'll probably shut your account down. It's a lot easier if people just talk to them. What else have I learned? They're going to charge you from day one. So let's just say you go, if you're like me, you don't want to sell cars without titles. There are a lot of people that will sell cars without titles and be like, oh, I'm going to get it in 30 days anyway, so I'll take care of it. I don't like doing that. I've seen enough cars not get titles and have to go back than I want to deal with. So again, I just don't want to deal with headaches. If you're comfortable in that area, God bless you. Do your thing. So let's just say you don't get the title for 3 weeks, 21 days. That's 21 days of interest you've spent because you don't have that title, which means on day 22, you got the title on 21, 22, or I guess on 21, you're able to put the car up for sale, you're putting it up for sale, and you're doing your thing. But you already ate through 21 days, all right? So that's like $63 on my $3 a day floor plan for no reason. So you really want to consider like if you're going to sell cars with or without the titles. Yeah, because if to me, it's not really fair. You know, like if I'm a floor plan company, I guess I got to make my money. But that's the one thing I really hate is that they're charging you and they haven't even paid for the car yet because they're not paying for the car until they get the title. But it is what it is because you can't. So the only auction that I know that allows you to pay 2 days after the title comes in is Manheim. So if I'm going to pay cash for a car, I want to use Manheim because until that title comes in, for a guy like myself who's not going to sell the car anyway, I don't want to have to pay for it until they have the title. I wouldn't buy the car from someone on the street without a title. Why am I forced to pay at an auction if you don't have the title? I think if more auctions did that, it would be a lot better for buyers because the sellers would be a lot like better with their titles, getting them in there. So that's really it, guys. I mean, the floor plans are great. You just have to be responsible, like everything else with your credit. You know what I mean? You have to be responsible, use them responsibly. I'm kind of a weirdo. I use them, but in the back of my head, I already know that I have the money in my account to pay for the cars. All right. To be honest with you, I had an instance where I was splitting a couple cars with someone. We put them on the floor plan. The deal was, you know, if you split these cars, you have to have the money because if 30 days comes, they want something, we got to pay for them. Well, 30 days came. So I'm like, hey, you know, we got to pay for these cars or whatever. And they didn't have the money, which it's kind of messed up on so many different ways. Because had those cars sold, it's kind of like making a bet and not having the money to pay for it. That's how I look at it, right? If you make a bet with someone, you need to have that money, because if you lose, you got to pay. But if you don't have the money and you made the bet and you win, then you made the money without having anything at stake, and it's just not right. But this guy's like family to me, so I mean, he is family, So I was just like, all right, not a big deal. I had to cover it, and thankfully, I'm an individual who's like, even if I'm doing that deal with someone, I need to know that I had the money to cover the whole nut anyway, because it's my ass on the line. So if you're going to be doing stuff like that, guys, just know that you're ultimately the one who's responsible. The floor plan company isn't going to hear like, oh, well, so-and-so was supposed to split it with me and they don't have the... No, it's you. We made a deal with you. So in life, when you're doing deals with people, understand they're doing deals with you. You're held liable. You're held responsible, rather. Sorry. You're responsible for this debt, not Joe Schmo. So this is on you. And if you're using a floor plan, just make sure you have the money. If you don't have the money and you're going to be flooring cars and you don't have the money, I'm going to tell you right now, don't use it daily. So Next Gear has a plan called Flex. I'm going to drop it on you right now. I'm going to drop some knowledge for you guys, a little sauce. So Next Gear has a plan called Flex, all right? In that plan, you don't have to make any curtailments. You don't have to pay anything until the car sells. Now understand, that doesn't mean you could take a year, because every day you're getting charged money, and you're getting charged, I think that one is like 17% a day. But understand, a curtailment means you have to pay like 10% of the, so let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you have a $15,000 car on a floor plan, and you had to pay, let's just say, 10%. So it's 30, 30, 30, 30, or it's 60, 90, 120, or it's when the car sells. But let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you're on a 60, 30, 30. So what does that mean? No payments due until day 60, right? And then your next payment is due 30 days after that, and your next payment is due 30 days after that, for a grand total of 120 days. But on day 120, they're expecting you to pay off the whole vehicle. If you cannot pay off the whole vehicle on a typical floor plan, not the Flex plan, on a typical floor plan, you can then call them and say, hey, I want to extend it. And they're going to charge you whatever they're going to charge you, and they're going to reset the clock on you. Okay. So the curtailment fee is 10%. So it's on that vehicle, 15 grand is $1,500. So now you only owe, your interest is based now on 13.5 versus 15. Okay. You'll also have to pay your interest to that day. So you're going to pay your curtailment of 10% plus whatever interest has been accrued to that. Then on day 30 days past that, so it's day 90, you will pay your interest for 30 days, and you're going to have to pay another 10% of 1350 is $1,350. Okay. So now you only owe, I'm not going to start breaking down the math, but let's just say it was $1,500 again. You'll owe $12,000. Okay. So now another 30 days goes by, you're expected to pay the whole car off and be done with it. With the Flex plan, so that's typical. Okay. That same $15,000 car, and for the plan we just spoke about, you're probably paying about 12% interest. In the Flex plan, you're probably going to be spending like 17, 18, 19%. And what they're going to do is they're just going to continue to charge you. And don't forget, on the other plan, you have your initiation fee and your audit fees. Okay. So you have all that in there as well. Now, on the Flex plan with Next Gear, it's not offered to everybody. Okay. But if you can get it, and especially if you're going to be using their money and you don't have your own money, understand, guys, with credit, you're always going to pay. Anytime someone's extending credit to you, whether it's a credit card or loan, floor plan, you're going to pay. And the more time you need to pay something back, the more you're going to pay. With a Flex plan, it's great for someone who doesn't have money in the bank. Super scary to say that, but here's the deal. There's no audit fees. There's no curtailments, and it's only interest. All right. So you're going to pay interest from day one. and you don't have to make any payments until you sell the car. So let's just say it takes you 90 days to sell that car. You did not have to send them $1,500. You did not have to send the interest payment. But on day 90, when that car sells, you had to pay them back for the car plus their interest. You're going to have to do the math on what that interest comes out to be yourself, and that's for you to speak with your rep through Nextgear. But if you're working with a very low budget, it's definitely something to think about, and it's called the Flex Plan. I don't know, that was one of the plans that we spoke about, my guy and I, and there's a certain thing that I want to do with that plan for me, why it works out well for me, but we still have a little more to talk about. And like I had mentioned, I also have Amex, who we'll be discussing tomorrow to see what their rates are looking like, and that's a line of credit with Amex to see how it compares to the Flex Plan versus Amex, and we'll take it from there. But I hope this was helpful, guys. I don't really know what more to say about it. You cannot be a rep and get a floor plan. You can't do it. You got to own a dealership. But a line of credit you can. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about the floor plans other than just be responsible with them. Because I've seen a lot of dealers go out of business. I've driven by a dealership and they've had beautiful cars sitting outside. One day they're not there. It's an empty lot. The next day it's a dealership. Couple dollar menu cars. 2 or 3 weeks later, all of a sudden they got $15,000 cars. A month or two later, they ain't got no cars. And I mean, overnight, gates open up, flatbeds come in. They're moving cars out. Like big 18-wheelers fit 8, 9 cars, pulling cars out. They're all going to the auction. And what they're doing is they're selling the cars probably at a loss so they can pay their floor plan and then say, hey, you know what? I lost $20K. I got to pay that money, but I keep the floor plan. I could redo it. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. You have to be careful with these floor plans. And you have to make sure that there's enough meat on the bones of that vehicle that you're buying. If you're buying dollar menu cars, I do not suggest using a floor plan. It doesn't make sense. On a dollar menu car, you might be making $1,000, and then you're gonna unless you're on like my daily where it's only $3 a day. But if you could turn and burn them in 30 days, that's how I would do it. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, that's how I do it. So if I put a car in the floor plan at the daily floor plan, okay, and I'm paying $3 a day, I don't care. If you come to my lot and you're like, yeah, I'll give you, let's just say hypothetically speaking, I spent $4,000 on the car. I'll give you $4,500 for it. Done. Write them up. Because I already know I've had the car for 20 days, so it's $60. So my business is going to make $440, but $440 plus my $300, so I'm at $740 right now for profit for the business. And I didn't use any of my own money. I didn't touch my money. So to me, that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense to you guys, then don't use it. All right. I'm not sitting here trying to sell you on a floor plan. I don't get money for the floor plans. I'm not trying to change the way you do business. Because ultimately, if you have the cash to float it, you should. I do, but I don't. I don't want to have to go and wire money every single time, pay $25 every time I have to wire money. I paid cash at Manheim, and Manheim held it for 7 days. I'm like, yo, how do you pay cash? And I can't get my car for 7 days. It was crazy. So I called them and they were like, oh, well, we just have to see how you do business. What difference does it matter how I do business? I just handed you cash. Like, how I do business? That's crazy to me. But I'm sorry, I'm lying. It wasn't cash, it was ACH. But it was ACH direct debit. They already took the money from my account. Why would I have to wait? You took the money from my account. If it hit your account, it's a done deal. And I got floor plans. So if I did screw you, you could just hit the floor plan. It's stupid. Anyway, I hope this helped you guys. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out of here.